You want to do what? My father's voice echoed through our spotless suburban kitchen, making the fancy light fixtures above the island tremble. His face, already red from his third scotch of the night, darkened to a dangerous shade of purple. I want to start a software company, I said again, trying hard to keep my voice steady. I've already built a prototype. It's a platform that helps small businesses manage digital tools more easily. Absolutely not. He slammed his glass on the counter. We didn't send you to Stanford for you to waste your life on some fantasy. You're joining the family business. That's final. I glanced at my mom, hoping she'd support me. But she sat motionless at the marble island, carefully avoiding the fight as always. The diamond bracelet I had given her for Christmas, paid for with money from secret freelance coding gigs, glinted under the kitchen lights. Mom, I said softly, you know how many small businesses are struggling to keep up with technology. This platform could make a difference. She sighed, eyes fixed on her manicure. Jason, your father's right. This tech obsession, it's not practical. Atkinson Industries needs you. It's been in the family for 3 generations. What they meant was that Atkinson Industries was falling behind. They wanted my programming skills to modernize their systems, to help them survive in a digital world. But I had bigger dreams, ones that didn't include working for a dying company just to keep the family name alive. I'm not asking for money, I said. I've got savings. All I need is a little time. My father laughed bitterly. Time? You want to play with computers while your sister's already a partner at her law firm? Lauren, the perfect daughter. Harvard Law, married to a surgeon. My gold standard sibling, the one they always used to measure my failures. This isn't playing, I said firmly. I already have potential clients. Small businesses need affordable digital solutions, and big tech isn't helping them. Before I could finish, a glass shattered against the wall, just inches from my head. Enough, my father yelled, whiskey dripping down the designer wallpaper. You have a choice. Join Atkinson Industries on Monday or get out. Let's see how long you last without our support. My mom flinched, but said nothing. She never did. I looked at both of them, my father shaking with rage. My mother still avoided my eyes. And I made my choice. I choose to leave, I said quietly. I'm done. You ungrateful. He started toward me, but I was already halfway up the stairs. I had been ready for this moment. My emergency bag was packed. Laptop, backup drive, a few clothes, and key documents all ready. Most of my savings were safely tucked away in an account they couldn't touch. Important papers were in a safety deposit box. I even had a backup plan. You have 2 hours, my father shouted after me. Then I want you out. I grabbed my hoodie and looked around my childhood room one last time. The walls still held my coding competition medals, science fair ribbons, and a framed article about the app that got me noticed by Stanford. My phone buzzed. A text from Frank, my best friend. Operation Escape still on? Happening now. Plan B initiated, I replied. Frank had a tiny apartment above his family's restaurant. We had talked this through months ago when I first decided to chase my dream. That would be my starting point. As I reached the front door, my mom finally spoke. Jason, please be reasonable. Your father just wants what's best. No, I said, cutting her off. He wants what's best for Atkinson Industries. That's not the same thing. I stepped outside without looking back. That night, I slept in my car, just 3 blocks away from home, close enough to use their Wi-Fi. It felt strange, quiet, lonely, but also free. And for the first time, I felt like I was finally living my life. I had parked just far enough from my parents' house that they wouldn't spot me. Sitting in the dark, my laptop glowed softly on the passenger seat as my fingers flew across the keyboard. The familiar rhythm of typing was the only thing loud enough to drown out that small, nagging voice in my head. What if I'm making a huge mistake? You sure about this? Frank asked, handing me a takeout container, his mom's amazing pad. The couch is still open. I shook my head and showed him my setup. Laptop, mobile hotspot for backup internet, power bank for emergencies. I need to stay mobile for now. If my parents find me, they'll try to drag me back. He leaned over, curious. So, what exactly are you building? I turned the screen toward him. It's called Smart Start. It's an all-in-one digital platform for small businesses, point of sale, inventory, customer relationships, and online storefronts. Everything they need to survive in a digital world, but simple and affordable. Like what your dad's company needs? He asked. Kind of, I said. But this is for businesses that can't afford fancy enterprise software. I've seen too many small shops go under because they couldn't keep up with the tech. Frank nodded slowly. His family's restaurant still used paper tickets and a cash register older than both of us. He got it. How long until it's ready? He asked. 3 months for the basic version, I replied. The core features are mostly done. I just need to finish the interface and add some polish. What I didn't tell him was that, in the background, I was also documenting every flaw I'd found in Atkinson Industries systems, every security hole, every inefficient process, every missed chance to modernize. Not to get back at them, but because I knew the day would come when they'd need what I was building. Life settled into a strange but steady rhythm. By day, I worked from coffee shops, buying the cheapest drink to justify using the space and Wi-Fi. By night, I parked near my parents' house to borrow their fast internet for uploads and testing. I lived off protein bars, coffee, and Frank's family's leftovers. Showers happened at a $21 a month gym. I learned which parking lots were safe and which weren't. It wasn't comfortable, but it was focused. With no distractions, no pressure from my father, and no quiet disappointment from my mom, I could finally build Smart Start. One weekend, Lauren found me. This is ridiculous, she said, standing by my table at the cafe I always worked at. You're living in your car to prove what? That you're just as stubborn as Dad. I didn't look up. I'm building something that matters. You're throwing away a guaranteed future. The family business is dying, I said, finally meeting her eyes. Dad's just too proud to admit it. The systems are outdated. The competition is leaving them behind. Then help fix it. I said simply. Just not in the way they want. She left, frustrated, but not before sliding a thick envelope across the table. Inside, $6,000 in cash and a note that said, "Don't be an idiot. Come home." I didn't go home, but I used the money to upgrade my laptop and development tools. Then in month 3, everything shifted. 4 small businesses reached out, asking to test Smart Start, a cozy local bookstore, a family-run hardware shop, and a growing food truck business. All of them were struggling to keep up with tech. All of them were exactly who I'd built the platform for. This is exactly what we need, the bookstore owner told me after I walked her through the system. QuickBooks is too complicated, and the custom stuff costs a fortune. How much is yours? I named a price that made her smile. It was deliberately lower than market rates. My plan was to grow through word of mouth. By month 4, I had my first paying customers. Not much, but enough to move into a tiny studio apartment, though I kept it off the lease, just in case my parents tried to track me down. And then came the call that changed everything. "Is this Jason Atkinson?" A polished voice asked over the phone. "Yes," I said cautiously. "This is Tyler Green from InnoFund Ventures. One of our portfolio companies mentioned your Smart Start platform. Said it's exactly what the small business market needs. Would you be interested in discussing a potential investment?" My heart nearly stopped. InnoFund Ventures, one of the most respected early-stage investors in the country. I thought of every sleepless night coding in my car, every cheat meal I ate instead of buying better tools, every moment I doubted myself but kept going anyway. "Yes," I said, gripping the phone tightly. "I would definitely be interested." What I didn't know at the time was that this single phone call would be the beginning of everything I had worked for, proof that I wasn't just chasing a dream. I was building a future. The offer from InnoFund Ventures didn't just validate my dream. It forced me to confront the very failures my family had been hiding for years. And I never saw it coming. Their office was perched at the top of a gleaming downtown skyscraper, exactly the kind of place my father would have respected. Everything about it screamed success. I adjusted my one decent suit, a secondhand find I'd bought just for investor meetings, and tried to forget that just 4 months ago, I was living in my car. Tyler Green, InnoFund's managing partner, was younger than I expected. Early 40s maybe, with the calm confidence of someone who made his millions during the first tech boom. "Walk me through it again," he said, pointing to the giant display where my Smart Start demo was already running. I took a deep breath and launched into my pitch. Small businesses are drowning in digital complexity. They need tools for e-commerce, inventory, customer management, but the current solutions are too expensive, too complicated, or too limited. I showed how a business owner could set up their entire digital presence, point of sale, inventory tracking, customer communication, and analytics in under an hour, all in one place. All are easy to use. "And this scales?" Tyler asked. "Completely," I said. "The platform is cloud-based and modular. As businesses grow, we can integrate with other systems, but the core stays simple." He nodded, impressed. "And your current users?" 25 paying customers. All through word of mouth. Zero churn. Average daily use is 5 hours. He raised an eyebrow. "That's very strong." He pulled up another screen, my incorporation documents. Innovative Solutions, LLC filed 8 months ago. "All self-funded?" he asked. "Yes," I said. Then came the moment I was dreading. "You're Anthony Atkinson's son, right?" My heart skipped. You know my father?" He nodded. "I invested in Atkinson Industries years ago, before your dad bought out the other shareholders. I hear they're struggling now. Can't keep up with the digital shift." I kept my expression calm. "I wouldn't know. I'm not involved with Atkinson Industries." He studied me carefully, then tapped his tablet. A document appeared on the screen. "We'd like to offer you seed funding, $6.6 million for an 18% stake." My hands shook under the table. $6.6 million. More money than I'd ever seen in one place. "But there's one condition," Tyler added. "We want you to widen your scope. Small businesses are great, but mid-sized companies need this too. Businesses like, say, Atkinson Industries." There it was. The trap I knew might come. "You want me to target my father's company?" I said. He smiled slightly. "I want you to target a market that's desperate for innovation. If your father's business benefits, that's just a side effect." I thought about all the nights I sat in my car outside my parents' house, borrowing their Wi-Fi to build a product they didn't believe in. I remembered my father's rage, my mother's silence, and the small businesses already thriving because of Smart Start. "I'll need full control over the company's direction," I said. "No interference with the core mission." "Of course," Tyler replied. He slid a folder across the table. "Have your lawyers take a look. But don't wait too long. This window won't stay open forever." 2 days later, I signed. Lauren, my sister, still the best lawyer in the family even if she didn't believe it, reviewed every word. "You're doing this?" she asked, handing the documents back. "Going head-to-head with Dad's company?" "I'm building something that could save his company," I said. "If he's willing to see it." She shook her head. "He won't. Not from you." She was probably right. But I had a plan for that too. The next 8 months were a blur. I rented real office space, a converted warehouse that would have given my mother a heart attack. I hired developers, designers, and a small sales team. Frank joined as head of customer success. His experience working with small business owners made him a perfect fit. Smart Start didn't just grow, it exploded. Word spread like wildfire across small business forums, Facebook groups, and even LinkedIn. People finally had access to software that did what it promised, without draining their budgets or requiring a tech degree to use it. From a couple dozen users, we scaled to hundreds, then thousands. And then came the article that changed everything. Digital David versus Goliath. How Smart Start is disrupting enterprise software. The tech media had finally taken notice. What started in the back seat of my car, built with stolen Wi-Fi and secondhand tools, was now making waves in an industry dominated by giants. And I was just getting started. The article hit the tech world like a spark in dry grass. It praised Smart Start for its clean design, practical features, and how it was helping small businesses compete with industry giants. Buried in the last few paragraphs was a line that changed everything. I was the estranged son of Anthony Atkinson. My phone rang minutes after it went live. "Dad's furious," Lauren said, skipping any greeting. "He's calling an emergency board meeting." "Why?" I asked. "SmartStar doesn't compete with Atkinson Industries." "Not directly," she replied. "But 3 of their biggest clients just announced they're switching to your platform." I leaned back, stunned. We'd been so focused on serving small businesses that I hadn't noticed mid-sized companies quietly adopting our platform. And apparently neither had my father until now. "There's more," Lauren continued. "Their last quarterly numbers? They're terrible, Jason. The board is talking about replacing Dad if he can't turn things around." I quickly pulled up Atkinson Industries' public financials. They were worse than I expected. Stock down 59% in just 4 months. Customer retention falling. Their ancient software systems were dragging the company toward bankruptcy. "They need help," I said quietly. "They need you," Lauren corrected. "But you and I both know he'll never ask." I thought about what Tyler Green had said weeks ago about targeting mid-sized businesses. About how we'd quietly built features into Smart Start that were perfect for companies exactly like Atkinson Industries. "Maybe," I said slowly. "They don't need to know it's me." That night, I called my emergency meeting. "We're launching enterprise solutions," I told the team, pulling up a prototype I'd been building in secret. It was designed for larger, more complex companies, built on the Smart Start foundation but with added tools for logistics, workflow automation, and advanced reporting. Frank raised a brow. "I thought we were sticking to small businesses." "We are," I said. "But mid-sized companies are getting crushed, too big for simple tools, too small for bloated enterprise software. We can help them." What I didn't say was that every feature in this new version had been designed to fix Atkinson Industries' exact problems. I had studied their weaknesses for months, built solutions they didn't even know they needed. The team worked nonstop. Within weeks, Enterprise Solutions launched under a separate brand and a shell company designed to hide any connection to me. We tailored the marketing toward companies like Atkinson Industries, which is a long-standing business struggling to modernize. We didn't wait long. Just days after launch, their newly hired CTO, brought in after yet another system failure, reached out. A meeting was scheduled at Atkinson Industries headquarters. I didn't attend in person. Instead, I watched through a secure video feed as our sales team, carefully chosen with no ties to me, presented the platform to my father and his board. I saw the exact moment my father realized this was the solution they'd been searching for. I watched him try not to show it, watched the board lean in and ask excited questions about pricing and rollout. This would be a major investment, our sales lead explained, but the return could be transformative. "We'll need to consider other options," my father said abruptly. "Anthony," one of the older board members leaned forward. "We've seen the other options. 12 presentations in the last 3 months. This is the only one that addresses our real needs." Another added, "My cousin's factory switched to their platform last quarter. Productivity jumped. Costs dropped." My father's expression tightened as he realized he was losing control. The board wanted change. The customers needed it. And Enterprise Solutions was the only way forward. "Fine," he muttered. "Start the procurement process." I closed the feed. We had done it. Built the exact thing my father's company needed. Saved them. Proved my vision was right. So, why didn't it feel like a win? The answer came 2 days later. Lauren called again. No hello, no preface. Just truth. "Dad's drinking," she said. "Really drinking. Mom's talking about leaving." My stomach turned. Because of Enterprise Solutions? Maybe. Maybe not. But I couldn't ignore the truth. I had built something powerful enough to save the company. But it might have broken the family beyond repair.
"He knows he failed," Lauren said.
"The company's falling apart, and now he had to go to outsiders for help." She hesitated. "He keeps saying he should have listened to you." I stared out my office window. My father's pride, my stubbornness, years of silence. This is where it all led. "What if," I said, "there's a way to save the company and his pride?" "How?" she asked. "I have an idea, but I need your help." That Thursday, I parked outside Atkinson Industries, the same spot I used to sit and borrow their Wi-Fi. Now, I was walking in with a plan that could change everything. Everything ready? I asked. All set, Lauren said. The board's prepped. Tyler Green is here. Mom's nervous, but in position. I walked into the boardroom. My father looked shocked, then furious. Tyler nodded calmly. What are you doing here? Dad asked. I'm here for the Enterprise Solutions contract, I said, placing my laptop on the table. This is a closed meeting. Actually, Tyler cut in. He's here at my request. As our lead innovator, his input is essential. I pulled up my screen. Not just the new platform, Smart Start. My earliest sketches, notes, even the date I started. The day my dad kicked me out. I built this using your Wi-Fi, I said. Because I was living in my car. The board was silent. My mother finally looked at me. I switched to Enterprise Solutions. This system was built to fix your company's exact problems. You spied on us? My father asked.
No.
I tried to save what you wouldn't let me fix. Tyler stepped in. We're proposing a merger. Smart Start acquires a controlling interest. Atkinson Industries continues, but stronger. You want to buy my company? Dad said. I want to save it, I said. But it has to happen now. Just before the market left us behind for good, my mother spoke, for the first time in any board meeting. Anthony, she said softly, listen to him. He turned to her, surprised. In 27 years of meetings, she had never said a word. I've seen what Jason built, she continued. I've seen what he gave up to do it. This isn't about winning or losing. It's about family. He let out a short, bitter laugh. He left the family business. No, I said quietly. I found a new way to support it. Every feature, every breakthrough we created in Enterprise Solutions, every single part of it, was built with Atkinson Industries in mind. Because even when I was pushed out, I never stopped believing in what this company could become. I walked over and pulled up one last document on my tablet. It was the original business plan I had written the night I slept in my car after being forced out. The title read, Project Phoenix, Modernizing Atkinson Industries Through Independent Innovation. His eyes locked on the screen. He blinked in recognition. This was your plan all along? Plan B, I said. Plan A was convincing you to modernize from the inside. But you weren't ready to hear it. Tyler Green stood. The board will vote on the merger proposal by the end of the day. I suggest a short recess. The room cleared, and I was left alone with my father. He sat there, staring at my plan. Why didn't you tell me? He asked finally. Would you have listened? I asked. Really listened. Not just heard what you wanted to hear?
He was quiet for a long time.
Then he muttered, You built all this using our Wi-Fi? I laughed. That's what you're focused on? No, he sighed, rubbing his temples. I'm just trying to understand how my son went from sleeping in a car to offering to buy my company in less than 3 years. The same way you built it in the beginning, I said. By seeing opportunities others missed. By working harder than anyone thought I could. By believing in something bigger than myself. He gave a small nod. Your grandfather would have loved this. He always said the best lessons in business come from proving people wrong. I learned that from you, I said. All those stories about how you built Atkinson from nothing, how you refused to quit, I listened. I just took a different path. I sat down beside him. The board returned and voted. Unanimously, they approved the merger. After the longest pause of my life, my father raised his hand and said yes. The transition wasn't easy. Change never is, especially in family businesses. But slowly, Atkinson Industries started to transform. We kept the name, honoring our legacy. But we upgraded the brand, the tools, and the vision. My grandfather's foundation stayed strong, but now it was powered by smart, modern innovation. Together, we created something new, something better. A year later, I sat in what had once been my father's office. Now it was ours. He had finally embraced the chairman role at Meritus, and we were reviewing our quarterly results, numbers that had far surpassed expectations. You were right, he said out of nowhere. I looked up. About what? Everything, he said. The technology, the shift in the market, the need to evolve. I was too proud, too scared to let go of control. He smiled, genuinely this time, the smile I remembered from childhood. But now, I'm proud of what you built, of what we're building. My phone buzzed. A message from Frank, another family business struggling to survive, one that could benefit from what we had created. Speaking of building, I said, opening the proposal, what do you think about expanding our enterprise division? He smiled, eyes lighting up. Tell me more. That night, I drove past our old house. The Wi-Fi was still strong. I upgraded it last month. They didn't know. But that's the thing about building something meaningful. You don't always have to be seen. You just have to keep believing. I remembered that first night, sitting alone in my car, the cold creeping in, coding by the soft light of my laptop. It was running on nothing but battery, determination, and a stubborn need to prove everyone wrong. Back then, it felt like success meant showing them what they missed out on. But over time, I learned something deeper. Success isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about building something so strong, so real, that even the biggest skeptics can't ignore it. It's not revenge, it's vision. It's growth. My phone buzzed, snapping me back to the present. It was a message from my mom, reminder about family dinner. Those dinners had become a regular thing now. And the tone had changed too. The old judgment was gone. Now we talked about ideas, plans, and possibilities. Criticism had turned into curiosity, arguments into advice. Coming, I texted, and just because I couldn't resist, I added, sent using your Wi-Fi. Her reply came fast. Very funny. Your father says to bring the new acquisition proposal. And yes, he's actually smiling about it. I smiled too. What a journey it had been, from being shut out to being welcomed back in. From feeling like an outsider to becoming part of the vision. From sneaking Wi-Fi in the driveway to helping them lead in a digital world. Sometimes the best kind of comeback isn't about proving people wrong. It's helping them see a better version of what's right. And maybe, just maybe, building something that brings everyone forward together.